Hey guys, it's True Voodoo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new Tier 7 medium tank that's in the game. It's a premium vehicle. It's called the Eagle 7. It's an American medium tank, very similar to the T20 with some pretty major differences in terms of mobility. In the gameplay you'll be seeing, I'm running this with a crew that's pretty decent with the exception of having BIA. It does have an extra crew member, so I was not able to complete the BIA during the making of this video and the clips that you'll be seeing. For the equipment, I'm running it with a optics, rammer, and vert staff. That's a pretty standard loadout for any of my medium tanks and even most of my heavies. And let's get right into the clips. So the next thing I want to talk about with this tank is the gun handling. The gun handling on this tank, I think, is its strongest suit. It aims really quickly. The penetration, people might complain about it because of the gold rounds, but really I didn't even have to shoot a lot of premium ammo. I ended up doing pretty well. You'll notice in a lot of these close range engagements that I really don't have to aim more than like 50%. The key to doing well with this tank and the gun handling is learning at what point you can fire and still hit accurately based on what range you're at. Switching to medium range, you see I let it settle a little bit more. I'm probably aiming about 70% on some of these shots at a little bit more of a medium range. That's something that was important to me in this tank because of the lack of mobility. I at least want to feel like the gun is performing when I am somewhere that I can't retreat from and I just kind of have to deal damage with what I've been given. The gun really didn't let me down. As you can see, that most of these shots are about 70% aimed. When we get into a little bit more of the long range, I'm fully aiming these shots. It really does pretty well. There's times like this where you can see I fully aim it. It kind of derps out. And that did happen sometimes even at close or medium range, but it was more RNG. At the long range here, it did feel more of this is what you can expect with the accuracy. Kind of a little bit of a off center. Can't really hit weak points for sure. So if you're shooting at an armored tank at this range, you're really not going to expect to hit it even with premium ammo. But otherwise, if you get in good positions, you can do really well. So with the armor, what I've noticed is that I don't really judge the turret by what the armor says. I just judge it by kind of alpha damage. So in general, I kind of expect to bounce tanks that are shooting 240 alpha if they're hitting me on the turret. But anything less than that, it's pretty much going to bounce on the turret. On the whole armor, it can bounce frontally if they're below 240 alpha. But if they hit you on the side armor, as you'll see coming up, even if it's like a tier 5 tank and they have a little bit of side armor, they'll pen you every time. This is the good example of that. So you got a little bit of my side armor there, just barely. It's not that big of an angle, but he's hitting it. And because I'm slow and I was being lazy, I didn't position to bounce that. And he was a tier 5, so I was like, yeah, whatever. All of these hits you see, they're pretty much 240 alpha or less. That's what you can expect to bounce. At the higher tiers, versus most tier 8s, they're pretty much going to pin you. So you have to use a good gun handling to avoid incoming damage. So mobility, this was the biggest problem with this tank, and I think this is what most people are going to struggle with the most. You have to have really good map awareness in this tank to survive. And as you can see here, this looks like, we're doing okay, but I sense that we're going to lose the north. And I have to leave so early because I know I'm slow. And you look there, the 50 TP dies. And downhill, this tank goes like 45, which is listed as its top speed. But on flat ground, what do you go, like 20? I don't know. It's really, really bad. The traverse is really bad. Going uphill, you go like 14, 11. It just depends on the steepness of the hill. But as a medium tank, in this kind of situation, this is generally the strength of a medium tank, is you can get away from danger. In this tank, you just have to leave so early that I think most players are going to struggle to enjoy it because they're not going to be able to make the map reads that like a higher level player can. And if you can't, you would have just been stuck here where I was previously, because you wouldn't have seen it coming soon enough. You would have probably dealt 2 more shots of damage and died. I got away, thankfully, and I ended up dealing about 1600 damage this game. So with good map awareness, you can get out of trouble. And this was my worst moment in this tank right here. This is I'm damage farming. I realize that my heavy's not coming to help me, and I'm taking a risk by staying. Oh look, a tier 7 heavy tank. Let's run away. Is my engine damaged? Is he gaining up? No. Okay, so my engine's not damaged. Okay, panic shot. I'm scared. Yeah, I'm getting chased down by a T29. No, my engine's not damaged. Yes, he's catching up to me, and I can't even run around a house to avoid a heavy tank. So that was the saddest moment in that tank. And if there's anything that'll make you decide not to buy this tank, it was watching me get chased down by a T29. It was pretty sad. The other thing, like on this map I was playing, and I really wanted to chase down the K line and dig that out, but because my mobility, I knew I couldn't. If I had a fast tank where I could just get in really quick and just take out their backline guy, this would have been an easy win. Instead, I was forced to retreat because I was too slow to push that, and the side armor and everything except for the turret is just unreliable. So I was just forced to retreat, and I just turned it into like kind of a just survive and do what I can. And I think that's my biggest dislike with this tank, is that because of the mobility, you can't typically earn wins, but you can earn damage. And in the situation where your team is really bad, if you're in a fast tank, it doesn't matter. So like if your team's really bad and they don't really take much of the map, and you're in a fast tank, well, you can't do anything anyway, so you end up having to do what I'm doing here, which is kind of late game damage farming. But then you don't have armor, you don't have good gun handling. A lot of the fast tanks, it depends, but you would just be stuck in a situation like this anyways. But the thing I don't appreciate is that the situation in this game was there for me to take the K line, and I just couldn't. I'm too slow. I can't win the map as fast on my side as their tanks can win it on their side. And you just kind of have to take it down to chance at the end that the enemy's hurt enough that you can win in a situation like this. If I were to recommend this tank to you, I don't know if I would buy it for myself. I'm thankful to have it as a community contributor, and it was fun to play. But at the end of the day, I like tanks that can take the win if it's available. And this tank, it struggles to do that, so I don't know if I would personally buy it. I did have some really fun games at the end, and as you can see here, this ends up being pretty exciting, but it's just too slow for me. And the issue with slow tanks is if I'm in a slow tank, I want a slow tank with really good armor. If my armor's mediocre, just give me a fast tank and let me do good things that fast tanks can do. So this tank is slow, like it's slower than the heavy tank that I got chased down by, but realistically the armor isn't super great. It's good at kind of medium range versus same tier. So if you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it gave you a quick and honest look at the tank, I chose the gun handling clips based on what I feel like shows the gun the best, because realistically those shots were what you can expect when you play this tank. The mobility, I showed you a clip where you have to flex super early or you're gonna die, and you can get chased down by heavy tanks. But the gun handling is really the best thing. If you can manage to get into a good spot where you can damage farm, or you can kind of support some of your other tanks, you're gonna have a fantastic time in this tank. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a subscribe. Is that what YouTube does? Subscribe. I don't upload to YouTube that much, but I'm gonna try to do better for you guys. I appreciate you being here and watching. I'd also like to give a shout out to my Twitch channel. It'll be in the description. If you guys ever want to come in and watch me play live, my schedule will be in the panels, and feel free to stop in, ask me questions, chat with me about things you're struggling on, and I always do my best to help my viewers to succeed at the game. And just a reminder, you can sub to my channel for free if you link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video.